are April and Scott, creators of NaughtyGym.com, and this is The Naughty Gym Show.
For years, we've been fitness and nutrition coaches to thousands of people through our commercial gyms and online platform. We've also spent nearly a decade in an ever-evolving open relationship.
This show brings together two of our biggest passions, fitness and sex positivity. Our mission is to maximize the physical and mental health of anyone brave enough to explore relationship structures that run counter to societal norms.
We have demolished our old ways of thinking about relationships, and from that rubble, built a life full of happiness, adventure, and vitality. And now we want to help you do the same.
So hop on the treadmill, start the show, and let us teach you how to never stop playing. Welcome back to the Naughty Gym Show. I am your host, April, and this is my co-host, 1% better every day, my man, Scott.
I think I may have been wearing this in the last episode.
You've worn that every day for the last 3 weeks.
It has become my official house uniform.
His work uniform.
Yeah, we're just in the house all day. And it's just, I have a pair of pajama pants that I typically wear with them.
So we have been working around the clock. We went to bed at 2 this morning. We're working on getting ready for our Wild Love Theory retreat, which kicks off this Wednesday, April 15th. And we've had a lot of work to do. We just got the manuscripts printed out for the attendees. And we're all ready to go, except for like the little odds and ends kind of things. But before we get into what we're going to talk about today, Scott's actually going to put me in the hot seat. I want to just remind you, we're going to talk about something today that we already talked to our Patreon listeners about at patreon.com/naughtygym. They get some behind the scenes stories that we don't share on the podcast. And this week will be no different. We're going to share a little sexcapade incident that happened with us last week. And that is for our Patreon listeners only, because let's be honest, they're our favorites. Just kidding. But really, you can go to patreon.com/naughtygym. It's the price of a cup of coffee, and it really supports us. We do this for free because we love the community, and some people say that it's been valuable to listen to our dumb stories. But really, we appreciate all of the support. We have a few events coming up. We're going to be in Toronto at the X Club, June 25th through the 28th. It's right at the last weekend of Pride Month, which is the largest Pride celebration in North America, in Toronto that weekend. So that's going to be fun. Luna Matatas and DJ Rob Pulse will be with us doing some workshops. DJ Be Smooth, Ashley Manta. So you can go to our website, naughtygym.com, on the events tab and get tickets for that.
Yeah, that's a whole 3 or 4 day weekend party, and tickets have to be bought. If you want all 3 or all 4 days, you have to buy them from our website, not from X Club's website.
And it is FIFA weekend in Toronto, so hotel prices are crazy. So, but if you click on the link on the website where you buy the tickets, we have a special group rate, the X Club corporate rate, at 2 of the different hotels that are near X Club, and you will get a significantly discounted rate for your hotel stay. Our Barcelona trip in August is sold out already, but you can still get on the wait list. Then we have El Salvador, October 12th through the 18th. We have 5 rooms left for that.
5 out of 30, right?
5 out of 30 rooms. Yep. And then following that in November, we have our Wild and Wise, where I partner with Catherine with Expansive Connection. Her and I host a women's menopause retreat. Scott, at the same time, November 8th through the 11th, has Mancation Mountain, a men's retreat for any man in the sex positive space.
Probably my favorite event of all of last year, or at least the most impactful for me.
Lots of amazing stories came out of that last year. And then November 15th through the 20th, we have our holidays, where we celebrate 5 holidays in 5 days. This is more of a party, also connection focused, though. We do a lot of fun things. Last year, we brought in dueling pianos. We just had an amazing time. So go to our website, naughtygym.com, and click on the events tab, and you can get all of the information for all of the events that we're doing. So one thing we're going to share that we did. So we talked on our last podcast.
Oh, wait a minute. We got one thing I want to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I know we mentioned this in our last podcast, and depending on when you're listening to this, it may already also be out on one of Swing Nation's most recent podcasts where they interviewed us about this, or at least partially about this. But we are now officially in the contract has been signed with a resort to purchase a resort in Florida. We can't on the air say the name of it, but it is arguably the nicest lifestyle resort in America. And we are going to be moving there for a period of time to help maybe change the culture a bit, bring some new ideas in. But if you are interested, we really think that there's an issue with most of the lifestyle resorts in America in that they're pretty dead Monday through Thursday, right? They're just weekend only type places, or at least primarily. And we have a lot of ideas on how to fix that to make them more of a destination type thing like Hedo or Desire or something like that. So if that is something that excites you, if you'd like to be a part of this, and it's not just this resort, there's funds being raised to buy resorts around the country, and you can be a part of this on the ground floor if you want to, if you're an accredited investor. And if you don't know what it is, look it up, but you have to be an accredited investor. All of the documents are now ready. Email me at Scott@Wondervest, which is spelled WANDERVEST
.world.
God, I knew I'd screw that up. Scott@Wondervest.world. And I can send you all of the investment documents or give you a sign-in link to the portal where all the documents are being maintained.
Yeah. Okay. So on our last podcast, we talked about removing some boundaries. And I said that I was going to remove the boundary of Scott being able to private message anybody that he wanted to without it being in a group chat. But there was a little bit of a miscommunication because earlier in that day when we were discussing removing boundaries, I was moving towards, for 30 days, removing all boundaries in my head, in my little noggin. And what I voiced was it didn't make sense to me to remove the texting in a group, allow you to text whoever you wanted to freely, and then also not remove the next boundary that goes, well, then you could date somebody. Like, why
a connection?
Right. Why text if you aren't going to form a connection to go on a date? And then if you go on a date, why would I want a boundary on you that says you can't go further if you want to get intimate or have sex or whatever? It just didn't. So in my head, I was going, well, I should just remove all boundaries. Well, because I have most of these conversations in my head, I assumed you knew what I was thinking. And so at one point during that day, we were having this conversation. You said, you were in the kitchen. I remember exactly where you were standing. You were like, I mean, if you came to me today and were like, Scott, I'm going to remove all boundaries from you, I probably wouldn't even accept that because I would be terrified, that you didn't really mean it. And when you said that, I went, ooh, guess I'm not saying that out loud. And so after the podcast went out, I agreed, I said, what boundary would you want removed? Because at that point I was like, I don't know what to say then. And you said, well, let's start with texting whoever I want. I'm like, okay, so for 30 days, text whoever you want. And we talked afterwards and realized there was a miscommunication because I really have been doing a lot of work regulating, building capacity in my central nervous system, and wanted to test removing all of those boundaries when we were outside of an event, because we really have only tested removing boundaries when we're at events that we're working.
Yeah, right.
Which can be incredibly difficult. Like Be Better at Being Bad at Hedonism. I have so much going on as far as like the admin and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. And that
it's hard to be present when you're so distracted by everything that has to get done.
Yeah. I can't hold space for myself and I end up leaving so depleted. And so I thought, this would be the perfect environment. We're home, we've got a couple events, but nothing super high stress. Well, everything's a little high stress. But I need to get those reps in. I want the challenge of you moving freely through this world for 30 days, however you want, walk how you want, interact how you want, text how you want, call how you want, whatever. And I need to be able to self-soothe. I need to be able to test the work that I've put in with my therapist, with the journaling, with the reading, with all of that, and build that capacity.
So we are now, 2 weeks? Well, yeah, I guess
it was April 1st.
Because we're 2 weeks from that last podcast where I've had complete freedom. Mm-hmm. And I know that was not an easy thing for you to do, which was one of the reasons in the kitchen when I said I would probably not accept it, because you had been doing that work. You just hadn't been talking to me about that work. And so all I knew was, I still had a few rules and there'd been no discussion about removing them. And then one day you're like, let's remove them. And that just felt sudden to me, but it was probably a long process.
Well, and because you care so much about me, you are always kind of in this protective, because you've said it before, you don't want to hurt me. And so you're cautious. And so even if I said that, you were like, I just want to make sure that you're safe, that you're okay.
Yeah. Because what I don't want to do is you say, all right, you've got 30 days and we're going to, because that's one of the things that we teach in our workshop is that if you have you have this list of rules and maybe you've been thinking about, all right, do I really need this rule? I'd love to test it. Well, we teach this process called the lock and key exercise where you take 30 days where you remove one of those rules, maybe the one that feels the most doable for you. And at the end of 30 days, you meet again, have a discussion about it and see whether that rule needs to stay. I don't know where I was going.
This was all the rules. I was removing all the rules, not just one.
I mean, you were removing them all at once. And I didn't want to go, oh God, I got 30 days. I need to try to maximize this and just go on the hunt for somebody to connect with.
But also we've been together now going on 11 years. For the majority of that, you really couldn't trust my yes to be yes and my no to be no.
Because you wanted so desperately, it seemed like, to be the person who was comfortable with whatever. Right. That it was hard for you to say, no, I'm not comfortable.
Right. And now, and it's just been really within this last year, 2 years that I have been really working hard.
Yeah, Wild Love Theory has given us that framework.
Well, I was working on it before that, on finding my no and finding my yes, and sitting in that. And I will not say yes unless I mean it. And I will say no when I mean it.
I am logically trying to embrace that. My body is still struggling with it.
Right.
My nervous system is struggling with it. But we've had a couple of opportunities, a couple of, smaller type experiments. I'll say one we knew was coming and the others sort of jumped up on us. But we went to we'll call it a lifestyle get together.
Yeah. Some friends in a lifestyle community.
But it was just people. There were, I think, 4 or 5 couples and counting us at somebody's house. And this was at the house of the guy you've been seeing occasionally. And what a weird environment, because I have to go now. I'm taking my wife.
You've met him before.
Right. We'd met once.
But you'd never really hung out with him.
Not for any length of time. Right. We'd had a short conversation, but you've been out with him. You had been out with him. And there's another interesting thing is the night before this get together, you and him had gone out on a private date.
Right.
So I guess it was Friday night, you had gone on a date with him. And then on Saturday night, he had this get together at his house that you and I agreed to come to. So now I'm taking my wife over to her boyfriend's house.
He's not my boyfriend.
Or whatever, to hang out. And she's free to interact however she wants.
Yeah.
And now I'm free to interact however I want. So that was a different environment and not a lot of, happened. But what was really cool about it was arguably that would be the first time I've ever been in a lifestyle setting where I genuinely didn't feel any fear of feeling like I had some list of rules I needed to make sure I was abiding by.
Well, and
not that you've ever been overbearing about that.
No, but I've always been hyper vigilant. And maybe not even, you may not have even known that every time, but just because that's how I grew up, watching the room and watching like, how's everybody interacting and like balancing everybody, like, is everybody okay? And taking the temperature, like, how's everybody doing now? When we were driving home from that event, I was super proud of myself because I was like, we both interacted how we wanted to interact that night. And it was easy and it was fun and it was lighthearted. And at no point during that night did I feel like, oh my God, what's Scott doing? Where's he at? And there was multiple times where I didn't know where you were. Maybe you were outside talking. Maybe you were in the other room. And I didn't feel the need to check on you. And
I didn't feel like you felt the need to, like, right. I didn't feel that vigilance.
Right.
And this wasn't some big sex party.
Right.
I don't think anybody there was playing or anything like that. So it wasn't that type of environment, but it was still nice to be able to sit there and just
be present,
not have to check with myself going, okay, do I need to check in? Do I, none of those things that I'm typically thinking about. I was just having conversations and living my best life.
Yeah. And those for me, though, and that might to some people sound like, that sounds dumb. That sounds like, and I feel like that is probably easy for a lot of people. But for me, that felt like a big step, not in the sense of like, I thought Scott was going to take somebody to the room and like bang them or something like that. But just feeling confident that he was free to move and interact with anybody in any capacity that he wanted to. And I didn't feel like I needed to control it or manage it or oversee it. Yeah, right. It was freeing for me too, which is part of allowing myself to step into the freedom that I have.
Well, I think it was a good environment for, I don't even know, it's fair to say the first test of me being completely free, but it was a great environment to go into for you to kind of test, how am I going to feel knowing that I've given this go ahead to my husband?
Right.
Nothing major happened.
Right.
I had a lot of great conversation with some really beautiful women that night, but nothing physical happened. And it was great.
Yeah.
I think that was a great first step. What was interesting, and even though there was some awkwardness about me being there with you and the guy you've been seeing, he's such a super funny, nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
It's like, I just can't, I might want to punch him in the face, but I can't. He's just too cool.
He's too tall.
That's right. I couldn't reach his face. He's like 6'6" or something. I'd just be swinging at his face and not reaching it and feel even worse about it. Which will be important in one of the questions when you get on the hot seat in a minute.
Okay.
But then was it, how many nights later? It was the midweek, like on a Wednesday night the next
Thursday.
week, right? This is this earlier last week.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night. We're in Decatur, Alabama, which, by the way, if you've never been here, don't. But if
it's not as bad.
It's just nothing to do, right? Especially on Thursday night.
Oh, no, I would disagree, because we found out on Thursday night, Moe's Barbecue does karaoke and line dancing. And I got to line dance with a super sexy man who was probably in his late 20s, early 30s. And we had a great time. We went out with some friends to a play, because we have the Art Institute here now in Alabama, the Art College. And then afterwards, everything in Decatur closes except for apparently Moe's Barbecue. Who knew?
And that night we were in there. I'm pretty sure everybody in there thought we were chaperones because we were 20 years older than anybody else in there. But we had the best time. Yeah. And I did have a flirtatious experience with somebody without asking you if it was okay.
Yeah.
Nothing happened except a lot of like great energy exchange.
Yeah.
But that energy exchange would have been something, and I don't mean that in the most woo-woo way. I just mean we were vibing, or whatever people say. But
there is an energy exchange.
There were a couple of really great women there, and I felt like you were okay with me interacting with them in whatever way I wanted to. Now, again, there was no like physical intimacy or anything like that, but it's just important to me to take these steps a little bit at a time to protect us, to make sure you're okay, that I'm able to navigate it smartly and with care, and that you're okay with it. And those 2 nights, those 2 experiences were a great stepping stone from you being able to trust me with this freedom and me being able to trust you with my freedom.
Right. Yeah. I think that was well said.
Oh, thanks. All right. Now you're going on the hot seats. All right. So we get questions, emails from time to time, people asking us questions. So some of these are kind of based off some of that stuff that we get, but some of it's just me. There's no cohesion to any of this or theme. I'm just going to ask her some questions that I think are great. What I love when I'm listening to a podcast is especially when we're driving together, and they talk about something and we hit pause and then discuss it. Like, how do we feel about that?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of, so hopefully some of these questions will be, something that you can talk to your partner about.
And if they are, we would love to hear from you. You can email us at naughtygymonline@gmail.com. If you're one of our favorites on our Patreon at patreon.com/naughtygym, you can ask questions in there. But we really do. We respond to every email that we get. Let me rephrase that. I respond to every email we get.
Unless you just send a dick pic and say, "Hey, what's up, ho?"
Which we really have never gotten dick pics, but
we want them. Send them.
I respond to all of our social medias. I even check, like, if we're not friends with you or something like that. Sometimes it will go to like a spam box or something. But if something that we say brings something up and you share that with us, because that it sometimes can feel like you're an island, like we're just kind of talking out into the universe.
And you may never know. We might think that question is so great we build a podcast episode around, and we might invite you to be on the podcast.
If you have suggestions, we would love them. Naughty Gym.
All right.
Is it? naughtygymonline@gmail.com.
Yeah, Naughty Gym. All right, here you go, baby. You're ready. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let's say we're at an event. We meet a couple. We both kind of like them. Mm-hmm. We're starting to get to know them. There seems to be some chemistry there. Me and you have had a conversation like, yeah, I'm kind of interested. Maybe this could go somewhere. And then you find out they have a no kissing rule. How does that impact you?
How that impacts me is I no longer want to do anything behind closed doors. I am such a kissing person. I love kissing.
What was all the hesitancy?
Because I was just thinking, like, what would I say to them? I immediately got stressed out because I'm like, oh my God, now I need to have a conversation with these people. No, yeah, I love kissing. I think that is like a portal into like the chemistry and the passion. And it's such a beautiful thing.
But you can understand, I guess, even though no kissing tends to be, I know for me, it's a deal breaker. If you can't kiss,
well, and here's the thing.
You don't want to kiss, I'm probably going to be out.
We all had, which we don't have anymore, any boundaries, but we've all had those things in place to make ourselves feel safe. And I respect that. I will honor that, but also I am going to honor what is right for me. And I only want experiences that align with what I know to be right for me. And so that's great. We know people that have a no kissing rule. That's great. For them. We love them. We will support them. But also that doesn't align with what I want. Like right. When I have an encounter, like a sexual experience, I want all of it. Like I want the passion. I want the kissing. I want the, just sucking them up. Literally and metaphorically.
And it's not to say that we think that somebody that has that rule is doing something wrong.
No.
It's not that. It's that just for us, it's such an important thing for that connection piece that we're not, if we say no to somebody because they have that no kissing rule, it's not going, oh, we don't like you, or that's a wrong thing for you to want. It's just, that's not what we want.
There's
you want
no
what
shame
you want.
in that.
We want what we want, and those don't match. So that's not a path forward.
And here's the thing, what I think some people can take a no as there's something wrong with us. Like they rejected us. A no isn't a rejection of who you are as a person or who you are as a couple. Sometimes a no is because of the other person, like what they're honoring in themselves. And it was Ashley Manta who did a workshop at Be Better at Being Bad on receiving a no. And when somebody tells you no, thank you, or, no, that's not for me, honor that. Like, as a woman who is recently in the last 2 years learned to use her no and honor myself. If somebody gets offended by my no, they're not the person for me. But if somebody can receive that graciously and be like, thank you for honoring yourself, I don't take offense to that. Sure. Is it going to sting? Of course. Anytime you get feel that rejection, or like you ask for something and somebody says no, is it going to sting? Yeah. Let it sting, feel it. But also you can be beautiful friends. There's other things you can do.
Right. And you need to understand that all of your boundaries like that, anybody's boundaries, are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But you can't expect everybody else. If you want other people to respect your boundaries, you have, in your desires, you have to be okay with them respecting theirs. So if they're okay with a no kissing rule, great. But if there's somebody like us who that's such an important part of any experience that we have with somebody else, we're going to honor your no kissing rule. But you need to honor the fact that we're no longer interested because that's just not how we like to play. But that's okay. That's everybody's right. And you should be that way. You shouldn't do anything you don't want to do.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Let's say you're at an event and I'm talking with somebody. I'm not with you for whatever reason. You're over there talking to this couple. Super gorgeous. You're just into them.
Yeah.
Good looking guy, good looking woman, putting out the right
vibes,
energy. Yeah. And you're just like, this is going somewhere. I don't even care where Scott is. And then for whatever reason in the conversation, they open up to you and say, yeah, we just kind of have this policy where we're only good with women. So if you're okay with it, we'd love to have a 3-way with you because, we don't do anything with other men. Now, the term you'll hear for that is one penis policy. It's kind of a negative way of viewing it, I guess. But that's the label that typically is. If you were to hear that, pick whatever location you want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Everything's going great. Great person, seems like great, super attraction.
And they only want to play with me.
And they only want to play with you. And they let you know that. But part of the reason for that is because we just don't let other guys in our bedroom.
Yeah.
What's your reaction?
Bye, Scott.
Fuck. It's not what I was thinking.
No.
Also, if you're a listener and you worry sometimes that we cut on each other pretty hard, that's our love language. Yes. You should hear us at night when we're watching Temptation Island or The Bachelor.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so here's the thing. With the one penis policy, there's two sides to that sword, literally.
As most swords do.
I have met couples where they had a one penis policy, and it was because the husband was this super toxic, masculine, no man's ever going to touch my woman. Like we only play with women. But then there's also the other side where it's like, we're new to this. A woman feels safer right now. And we did that. Like our first experience was with a woman, and we aren't super like, I don't know if my wife would be comfortable with another man yet, but a woman feels safer. So yeah, I mean, if I was vibing with him, first of all, that man's not a toxic because I can call out, he's not toxic. Like he's not, if I'm.
Whoa, you're saying that you are impervious to being attracted to a guy that has some measure of toxic masculinity?
I can smell it from a mile away.
we will talk about this in private because I have an example.
Married. Oh, you do have an example.
I do have or one or two examples where I think that's.
But I will say I identified that, and I would concede to that. I will concede to that. I will concede to that. I am not proud of it. I am not proud of it. Not proud. But from here on forward, yeah, I would be okay with that if I was vibing with him, good energy. I was attracted to him.
You would be okay with either version of the one penis policy, the toxic masculine?
No, not the toxic masculine. Like what I'm saying is,
why not? What if a guy was just like, ain't no fucking, like up until that moment that he says this, you thought this is I'm fixing to destroy these two people. Yeah. And the guy just happens to mention on the way to the bedroom.
Oh, I'm done. You've seen that before where you've introduced me to somebody at a pool, at an event.
Yeah, but that
super
was
good looking.
Hyper extreme example.
I don't care. I can get the ick so fast. And when I'm done, I'm done. When a yes can turn to a no, and when it turns to a no, I'm done.
I've rarely seen you like the switch flip and you go, oh shoot, no, I'm out. And then turn around and change your mind. Now, I think to some extent, that's a bit of a mistake. I think you should be able to change your mind occasionally. But you're so good at reading people that 90% of the time, that's probably the correct decision. But yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on because we got a lot of questions here. Okay. So I don't really know how to ask this one exactly in the best way, but this is something we see a lot. And I'm guilty of it occasionally. How does it ever bother you when you're trying to have a conversation and the guy uses with some frequency in the conversation sexual innuendos? Mm. Now you can imagine the guy that just constantly does it.
Yeah, and I've experienced that. First of all, I have the humor of a 12-year-old boy, right? So I have very dark humor. Our inner circle knows that. I have very dark humor. I was raised with 5 boys. I have 3 boys. I am great with sexual innuendo. You can't get up from the couch without me grabbing your ass or like harassing you.
It's not just grab you don't grab my ass. What you do is you poke me in the butthole.
Okay.
Get up from the couch, and it's so shocking when it happens. I scream.
It's so funny. Okay. So I do love sexual innuendo jokes. If I know you. But there's a difference.
Know you?
Like if we're friends, we're close, like you know me.
So you're friends.
But here's the thing. There's sexual innuendo jokes, and then there's sexual harassment jokes. Like there's jokes that are, I always say, if nobody's laughing, it's not a joke. And what I mean is, if I'm not laughing, it's not a joke. I didn't think it was funny. But there was an instance at hedonism where I had to call out a man because he continually made super overtly sexual jokes that were like come-ons.
It was his means of flirting. He just could not.
But it was gross stuff, like asking like how old were you when you masturbated? Like, were you a child? And it was super gross. And I called him out. I have no problem calling somebody out when they're inappropriate.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think, I think the answer to this question for me is yes, but I'll be curious what you think. If a man or a woman, but men are typically more guilty of this, is flirting with you. You're in a conversation and maybe there's some flirtatious vibe and he's using a lot of sexual innuendo. Would you say that you're much more receptive to it and think it's funnier if you are attracted to him than if you're not?
No, I think there's a time and a place, right? Like if you can't hold a conversation without like everything being an innuendo, then I don't care if I'm attracted to you or not, that attraction level is going to drop. Like,
it's going to eventually wear on you.
Right. It's having the emotional IQ to know when it's appropriate and when it's not, when it's going to be funny, when it's not. When I do it, it's always funny.
Okay. But
sometimes the shock value is
I'll
funny.
say this. I like it more. And this is terrible. I don't even know it's terrible, but I'll get your opinion. If I'm attracted to the woman physically, and maybe there's even an emotional connection of some kind, I think it's funnier. I'll receive it better. But it's almost like I feel like you need to establish some degree of
rapport,
of mutual attraction. And I know that's hard to measure.
I don't think it has attraction, because we have friends that we're not sexually attracted to that make sexual innuendo jokes, and they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but they're not.
I think it's the rapport. It's timing, and it's if it's sexual innuendo that is constantly objectifying a woman, that gets old.
So basically, it's a razor thin line, and good luck trying to walk down it.
No, because we have so many people that we know that nail it.
Yeah,
it's because I have such dark, dirty humor and think that stuff is super funny. A lot of guys meet that mark.
Yeah,
but there are the select few that go so overboard to the inappropriate line. But I also no longer I won't bite my tongue anymore. I will call it out, because I can see now, like with the guy at Hito, I could see other women who weren't able to use their voice yet being super uncomfortable. In fact, we had people come to us and say they were being made feel uncomfortable. I will call them out.
Okay. Next question. Same couple.
Oh my God. As what couple? The one penis?
No. Well, okay. Sorry. You don't know about the one penis. They don't even, this is a different couple. All right. But the same setup. You're vibing with them, right?
Okay.
Everything's going great. You think they're both attractive. I'm not around. You're having great conversation. You're in the pool, say at Hito, having drinks. And, the guy says, Karen, that's his wife's name in my scenario here. Karen, you should kiss April.
Mm-mm.
What do you think?
I would say I'm not going to kiss Karen. In fact, I've actually done this. I would look at the husband and say, stop telling your wife what to do. I can't.
This is going to tee some people off, by the way.
I cannot stand, and I understand it, because you did this in the very beginning of our relationship.
I'm guilty of it.
Where you would go, April, go do this, because
I know better for you than you know for you.
No, it wasn't that. I tend to be a little more introverted. I was a little more cautious. You knew my intimate details, my desires. And so you wanted that for me. And so it wasn't a malicious thing when you would be like, April, go do this. But also, I will do that when I'm comfortable. And I may not have the capacity right now to handle that. So let me build the capacity and get to a place where I feel comfortable doing that. But if a man, and that's happened several times, where a man will say, do this or do that, and I'm out. I'm always out. Unless it is that person's choice and she has full autonomy over her decision making and isn't doing it because she's put on the spot. What a weird thing to have to do. You're standing there in front of your husband and a woman that maybe you're attracted to, maybe you're not. And your husband says, kiss her. Like, I just want to stand there and be like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, please don't kiss me. Like,
well, then what recommendation would you give to a man who thinks that they know their wife so well that they can tell she is really into a thing, but she seems to not have the courage to pursue that thing?
I would say, let her be. Maybe she never will. And then that's her regret. If she never builds the capacity, maybe she never gets there. That's on her. Let her know, look, I know you really are into women. I know you would really love to have this experience with another woman. I will support you. What can I do to help you? Is there something I can do? Do you want me to, go talk to this other woman and say, hey, my wife would like to talk to you, maybe in private, maybe, but to put her on the spot like that,
right in front of somebody. Yeah.
not only is it uncomfortable, and maybe they had that agreement, but for me, I don't know about this agreement. So I'm immediately going to turn to the woman and be like, no, like, you don't have to do that. I don't want to, like, this is no longer fun for me. But you have to allow your partner to develop at their own pace.
Would you say a better way of handling that in general would be wait till you get in private and say, hey, in that situation, would you have preferred if I kind of tried to nudge things forward a bit by suggesting a kiss or something like that? Would it be better to have that question in private?
Well, for the husband and the wife, yes. For me, I still don't know what those conversations were behind the scenes. So if a man walks up with his wife and was like, hey, Sylvia, kiss April, I'd be like, no, Sylvia. Oh, I don't know where I got that name. It reminds me of that psychic Sylvia from the 1990s. Anyways, I want to not feel pressure and not be put on the spot, and it should feel organic. Now, if she's feeling insecure because she's introverted, has never been with a woman, has never kissed a woman, then that might be a conversation that the three of us need to have somewhere else.
But knowing you like I do, if a woman is so introvert or not, that's not the right way of saying it. If she's too introverted to be able to ask for what she wants from you, then you're much less likely to be interested.
Not that I'm less likely to be interested. I'm less likely to act on what my desires are because I feel super protective of women. And I never want to cause pain or harm intentionally or unintentionally to a woman. And I want to always create space for them to feel what they're feeling and make their choices, but also them to feel like they've got somebody on their team. So it's not that it's not a turn off. It's just, I am going to be extra cautious.
It's kind of what do you call it? A yellow flag. It's a potential issue that now you got to watch out for.
Well, it's just a spot where maybe they need a little more support, a little more growth, and I'm here for it. I will be your friend. I will walk you through this. I will, not with motives, but just I've been there. I get it. Like, that's not an easy place to be.
You have, we've been open to non-monogamy the entire relationship, and I still have no idea on the whole who you're interested in. There's people I see and go, oh, she's going to definitely be interested in that person, and you're like, you've lost your mind. And then there's people I thought she'll have no interest in, and then I see you over there glossy-eyed and having a great conversation. However, I do think I know one thing, but let's get some clarification.
Okay.
What would you say, within 2 to 3 inches is your ideal height for another man?
6'1".
So you would say, first of all, I do not, that's not
5'10".
That's getting colder. No, that's not true. Let's start back for a second. From a distance, 6'1" does not feel accurate to me.
Well, you're asking me, not yourself.
I know, but you seem to get much more excited when a guy's like 6'4" plus.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Okay.
However,
now can it get too tall?
No.
Like 7'5"?
Yeah, that'd be good too. I'd give it a go. Here's what I'm a big girl. I'm 5'8". I'm 168.
But you were a shredded girl.
And I'm not uncomfortable about my weight but I grew up, my brothers were 6'1" to 6'8". And I felt small. And then I went out into the real world. And that's just not reality. Okay. My first husband was 5'7". So I'm not opposed. I'm not like a height. Like, I don't have a fetish about heights.
But you are attracted to taller men.
But I would like to be thrown around. Like, can you pick me up? And like,
well, like last night we were watching the latest season of Temptation Island, and this little bitty girl comes running towards this real tall, big, muscular guy. She runs, jumps. He grabbed her like under the armpits and presses her up over her
oh
head.
yeah.
And you were like, oh,
I was like,
God,
yes,
lift
boy.
Eddie. And while I might could do that for a brief second.
Oh, I don't want to throw your back out.
One, I can only hold you there for a second. Two, yeah, it could produce an injury. I don't know. And first of all, that does not.
You could do that for a second, and then you're going to surgery.
I got to get a labrum repaired from my shoulder. I'm just wanting you to be transparent. Like, seriously, you can't say 6'1" if you think 6'4" would be better.
Ideal. Yes, I see a tall guy and I'm like, hello. But also then they start talking sometimes and I'm like, shh.
Right. But all things being equal, great personality, great chemistry, nice guy, good looking.
I like a tall guy.
I know. What would you say would be ideal?
Probably 6'4", you're right.
Okay.
6'4", no. But I don't want people to get the point because, like I said, I spent 17 years with a man who was 5'7".
And I'm only 5'10".
Yeah. So can you make me laugh? If you're 6'4", you can't make me laugh, I'm probably out.
Yeah. How tall is the guy you're seeing now?
6'6".
Good. All right. All right. Well, wait a minute. So you were married. Your ex-husband was, what do you say, 5'7"?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you have a cutoff line for height from a short perspective? Like, okay, that's just, I can't wrap my brain.
I don't know. I've never thought about that. I guess it depends on how funny you are.
Okay. Humor's a big thing. Great. Because that leads us right into the next question. Rank in order of importance these three characteristics of a man, or, well, we'll go man. We're sticking with man now.
Okay.
In order of which one is the most important: looks, humor, and confidence.
Humor, confidence, looks. Humor's number 1, confidence number 2, looks number 3.
Are any of those unnecessary? Like you could
looks. Yeah, that's the thing is looks aren't super important. If I have an energy exchange with you, like you have good energy, like you are, like we have great conversation, we can laugh, you don't take yourself too seriously, like looks don't matter. Like your looks, you can go from a 1 to a 10 and it's just looks are so subjective, big or small.
And it changes.
And you'll agree with this. I don't have a type. Yeah. Like there is I look back in like my dating past, like I don't have a type.
You don't have a type in the sense that if I don't get this type, I'm not interested.
Right.
You do like taller guys in general, but that, honest to goodness, is really the only thing I've ever thought. If there's one thing I could pick in an ideal guy for her, he would be super tall. Outside of that, I agree. You don't really have a type. And even the tall thing is not, you have
hard
to have
and
a tall
fast,
guy.
right.
It's not hard and fast. But
right now, my biggest heartthrob is young blood.
Look him up, folks. Look him up.
I had, first of all, for years and years and years, I had the biggest crush. Like Steven Tyler made me so wet from Aerosmith. And young blood is just a younger version of Steven Tyler. I would choose him over The Rock any day. Like he is just, I see him and I'm like, yes, boy.
All right. Next question. Because I think we're running out of time here, but, let's say, the guy physically from a distance is checking all the boxes and then you go talk to him. What is the surest sign? What are the types of things he can do and or say that would make you immediately think this is an insecure man trying to hide his insecurity?
The number one thing is he starts talking negatively about other people. or gossiping. That is, I am private, probably to a dysfunction, a fault. I am fiercely private, not for myself, but for other people too, especially in the lifestyle, because we are outed in such a horrendous way. I don't share details about our friends in the lifestyle, about my encounters in the lifestyle, because I would never want to accidentally out somebody. And if I'm talking to somebody and they are name dropping like first and last names and they're just like super loose lipped, that to me is like a whoa red flag. Like I know immediately this probably isn't something that somebody that I will be involved with, because if they're talking about other people like this, they're going to talk about me like this.
You think if they're talking about somebody else, do you think that that is a sign of insecurity?
I think it's a sign of insecurity because they're like name dropping, like they're trying to like build, like, look what I've done, like, look who and that doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah. I want to take you as you are, as who you are, not what you've done or who you've done. Like your accolades don't mean much to me. Like I don't care about that. Who you've fucked, who you've dated, I want to know who you are as a person. So and that's happened before where I was talking to somebody that I was attracted to and they started putting down other people. Maybe it was because of their body or the way they looked or their education or whatever it is. And in fact, one time they were talking about somebody's education and I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but I failed out of college. I had a lot of fun, but I failed out of college.
And I once asked ChatGPT, what's 11 minus 7?
Thank you. Right. I mean, I really do try to I'm a very private person, and I try to be very respectful to people I don't even know, just the community of the lifestyle community in general. I think it's very easy to get outed, and just helping hold space for people to keep their own anonymity and tell their own story is so important. That's their story to tell. Like that's them. But also you could be attracted. For me, maybe it's because I'm a sapiosexual, a little demisexual. I'm attracted to such a wide variety of people. And now you're putting down somebody that is maybe one of my best friends. And now I'm going to have to punch you in the face.
All right, let's switch gears just a bit.
I don't choose violence anymore, by the way.
But
not with you.
You are bisexual, and not just performatively bisexual, but genuinely super attracted to women. So what is the biggest ick you've ever experienced in a woman that seemed to be interested in you? Or let's make it broader, maybe. What is the biggest turnoff in a woman? Ick in general. What is your biggest turnoff in women? We've talked about men.
I will say the gossipy thing. I don't like that. Or just running somebody down when you don't know their full story. I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I feel like if somebody did something that you believe was wrong, there may be more to the story. And I say
there's always
more to the story. Yeah. And I say that because I know we've been the topic of conversation so many times when people didn't have the full scope of the story. And so I am hypersensitive to giving people second, third, fourth, fifth chances. And if I hear something about somebody, or one of our friends doesn't like somebody because of XYZ, that doesn't mean I don't like them. I'm still going to pursue a friendship with them until they show me XYZ. I am never going to take somebody else's opinion about somebody else and base my relationship because of that. So
Okay.
that's the biggest way for men or women to give me an ick, is to try and sway me. And you can feel it when they're doing it. Like, this person did it. I don't want to hear it. And I don't do it. I don't tell anybody's business to anybody else.
And if you ever, we just are very hesitant. We've had far more physical interactions with people than we've ever talked about on the show, because we don't want people to think that, oh, if you play with Scott and April, they're just using you as content, or they don't really care about you. They just need a new podcast episode.
I care more about my connections than I do about sexual exploits or stories or.
Yeah, I can say with 100% confidence at this point in my lifestyle journey, if I've deeply connected with you, especially if I've, been flirting with you, or been not just flirting, I'll flirt with a lot of people. Let me rephrase that. If I've been intimate with you in a physical way, we've had sex, it's because I deeply care about you as a person. I think you're phenomenal.
Yeah.
I do not have sex just to stick my dick in a hole.
Yeah.
To me, it's just, I don't want to say that in a negative way. I know for a lot of people, that's what they want, is just the pure physical side of it, and as little of emotion as possible. Mm-hmm. And I'm the opposite. I want the most emotion possible. I want the deepest connection possible, because that's the way the physical seems the best for me. And I am no longer afraid that doing that jeopardizes me and you.
Yeah. Well, going back, sorry, this has nothing to do with what you just said.
Well, great.
I was just thinking, but also I'm fiercely loyal to not just my friends, but every person that I meet. If you've shared part of your story with me, and then somebody else says something kind of offhandedly negative about you, you better believe I have your back. And maybe not defending you like to the death, but maybe creating some space where they can have a little doubt about their opinion. I am never going to be the person that is going to jump on the bandwagon to bash another person, because I know there's so many different stories, and I have so much empathy and compassion and love for humanity in general.
Well, I got to back you up on that, because there have been many times, I don't know how many, what podcast, we're on 70 something podcast episodes at this point, and I have so many times said, hey, are we going to talk about this play session we had with this couple or this person or whatever? And almost without exception, you've always said, no, we're not going to do that. And if there was an exception, there was a very specific reason, and that person had given us the go ahead. So I do think it is admirable that you really, truly protect the anonymity and privacy of the people that you've had contact with.
Well, I love people. And that's why we do what we do. I love people. We both do. And I never want to influence them in a negative way. I don't ever want somebody to come into contact with me and leave feeling like that was a horrible interaction, like that she is not a good person. I want to hold space for people, allow them to be themselves, allow them to make mistakes. People make mistakes. They make horrible mistakes. I will hold space for that too. Until you prove you're just a complete and total dick, I will hold space. I will forgive. Until you prove me wrong.
Well, I'm going to say this about us. I know it's true about me. I think it's true about you, but correct me if I'm wrong. If you ever play with us, it will not be on this show as content. We will protect your privacy unless you tell us, hey, I'd love to hear about this on the show. Then we might talk about it, but
won't. Maybe on Patreon.
Yeah, maybe on Patreon.
Naughtygym.com.
But I will also say this, that, and I said this in a lecture a couple of years ago. If I'm connecting with you physically, I am trying my best to connect as deeply as possible emotionally. It is not just physical for me. And if that makes you uncomfortable, stay away from me because that's just not how I do the lifestyle now.
But I'm not even talking about play. I'm talking about people in general. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about acquaintances. I'm talking about any conversation that we have or that I have. I mean, we get phone calls several times a week where we're on phone calls with people in the lifestyle community that maybe had a question or needed to reach out or are having an issue and just needed a sounding board. I would never repeat any of that information. Yeah. There's no chance in hell that I would risk that person feeling exploited or betrayed or that kind of stuff. I hold so precious. And the fact that they're even coming to me, I feel so honored that I want to hold it with love and kindness and empathy and compassion. But yeah, I take that very, very seriously. So back to your story. That is the ick. If somebody is just kind of reckless and gossipy, I will be friends with that or acquaintances. I'll hang out, but it's not something that I'm ever going to probably bring into my inner circle because the people that I'm really close with, I feel like I can share with them openly.
All right. Well, that was the end of you being on the hot seat. And I think you did a fantastic job of answering questions that you had no idea what I was going to ask you ahead of time. And, I know there was no real theme to any of those questions, but I think it's fun for people to hear us have, that was a genuine conversation. There was no rehearsal of that. And you may disagree with our answers for yourself. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
We all travel this journey differently.
If you agree or disagree, go to naughtygemonline@gmail.com and send us an email and let us know. Yeah. And we appreciate you listening today. I hope this did spark some really good conversations for you. If you want to hear a little bit more, we're going to share on our Patreon some stories from a little sexapade incident we had. And also another story that Scott doesn't know we're about to share from our early days in our relationship. One of my sexual fantasies. We're going to share that on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/naughtygem.
I'm excited to hear
You can sign up. Our free members at Patreon do not get to hear these stories. You have to be a paid member, but that money also helps support and continue this podcast. So thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Thanks for the questions. We love you guys. And remember to never stop playing.